Zamarat. You think social media?
Shalom. You're in honor and praise unto the Creator and Maker of heaven and earth. My name is Yeshaya Yisrael of the tribe of Dan of the nation of Israel. This particular presentation, brothers and sisters, we do not, as in many other cases, intend for it to be long. Nonetheless, brothers and sisters, we want to present this out to the people. Apologize for the tardiness. This was expected to be done at 1 p.m. and it's now after 10. So for those who are interested and are concerned, we ask you all to type in the number 4. If you can hear me and if you're in good spirits and if you're concerned, please type in the number 4. On the human level, giving due respect to my lady, Sarah Michaela of the house of Yisrael. Thank you, Sarah, for typing in the number 4 in said manner. We ask you all to get your pens, your pads, and your paper. What we're going to do is use 3 slides because to go over the 10 Commandments in Hebrew, we want to be as detailed and meticulous as possible. So we're only going to go from until the end of the 2nd commandment. I am the Lord thy God who brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt is not a commandment, unlike what the Jewish people say. I am the Lord thy God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, is not a commandment. It's a statement. The commandment starts by saying, thou shalt not have any other gods before me. How we know? Because a command is something that has to be performed. It's something that has to be obeyed. It's something that has to be respected and honored. Not just believed like Israel was brought forth out of Egypt. A commandment is something that is telling you that has to be done and adhered to. So, brothers and sisters, let us continue by removing the actual matter of Sinai. That's where it's located in modern Arabia. And that is the only mountain, in, correct me if I'm wrong, burnt on the top like that. And for those of us who know, we know good and well, brothers and sisters, that the mountain in the book of Exodus chapter 19 says that the top of the mountain was completely on smoke because Yahweh descended upon it. Now, when I say Yahweh, some people may say as Yahweh, some people may say as Yahuwah, some people may say as Yahweh. But nonetheless, we are talking about the creator and the maker of heaven and earth, the one who sees all and is not seen, the one who judges all and is not judged, brothers and sisters. So we ask you all to subscribe to the channel, Mora Yeshaya Torah lessons, as well as Mora Yeshaya Hebrew lessons. Before we get into that, if we will, we want to do a little intro, as is the custom upon this channel. And we'll read just a couple of verses out of the book of Ezekiel, the chapter 23. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, there were 2 women, the daughters of one mother, and they committed whoredoms in Egypt. They committed whoredoms in their youth. There were their breasts pressed, and there they bruised the teeth of their virginity. And the names of them were Aholah, the elder, and Aholibah, her sister, and they were mine. And they bare sons and daughters. Thus were their names. Samaria is Aholah, and Jerusalem Aholibah. And Aholah played the harlot when she was mine, and she doted on her lovers, on the Assyrians, her neighbors. Verse 7. Thus she committed her whoredoms with them, with all the men that were chosen men of Assyria, and with on whom she doted, with all the idols she defiled. Neither left she, for in her youth they let bruise virginity and poured their whoredoms upon her. Wherefore, with her in the hand of her lovers, and to the hand of the Assyrians upon whom she doted. These discovered her nakedness. They took her sons and daughters and slew her with the sword, and she became famous among women, for they had executed judgment upon her. Aholah, representing the northern kingdom. The word mamlaka, or the word malkut, means kingdom. So it's going to be representing the feminine. So the word aholah means her tent. And aholibah means my tent is in her. So Samaria was Aholah. Can Aholah, who played the harlot, upon whom she doted, and who wound up losing her sons and daughters, and who wound up being known for being out there? Are there some men that can be appropriated as such? Brothers, what am I saying? Don't go out like that. Use your wisdom. Don't be doting upon women who are not worth the time, just as much as Assyria was not worth the northern kingdom's time. They took the sons and daughters. When a man has something that he needs to cherish, and he tries to sit there and go and dote somewhere else, living a lie, if you will, you wind up losing a whole lot more when that comes out, so there's no point in doing that. The Assyrians, in this kind of way, I am portraying as what we'll call a home wrecker. You go in, as it says there in verse 6, whom you doted upon, oh, look at all of their status and look at all of this. Seems greener on the other side, until you get to Assyria and they wind up impaling you. Or until you wind up as a man dealing with trying to play gigolo, doting upon women that's not worth the time, the energy, nor in your integrity. And you wind up losing more. You got to ask yourself, as a man and dealing with a woman, and as a woman dealing with a man, can this person add to me? And I'm not talking adding problems, adding peace, adding tranquility, adding acceptance, adding love, adding respect, adding trust, adding chivalry. The things that we need from one another. Is the person willing to hear a matter? Or is it just like, yo, it is what it is? Feel me? We don't want that kind of attitude. Aholah wound up going into captivity. And the Assyrians on whom she doted upon did not sit there and want to help her. So I am not the biggest fan of Tyler Perry, but just using this as an example. You had a wife that stood with you through the lawyer school thing and all of that, but you dragged her in Diary of a Mad Black Woman out the house talking about you got to go and take care of this and that. He got some new lady. That new lady in this case is equivalent to the Assyrians, because she took your sons and daughter, and you wound up having to go back and getting help from whom you disrespected. The Most High said in the book of Judges, go and call on the gods, the Baalim and the Asherah, and let them come and save you. So when you have a good thing, brothers, don't be the male whore, Aholah. And don't be the arrogant whore, Aholibah, in Ezekiel 23. That's basically saying that was Aholah's problem. That ain't me. So these are things, brothers and sisters, we want to point out in the intro of this particular case. So again, we ask you all to get your pens, your pad, and your paper, and notes. I'm going to pull up the PowerPoint. Thank you for the time. We're going to have the slideshow. And it says what? If you can see what I pulled up there in the Hebrew, it's called Hebrew for Hebrew lovers. All right. We had a little technical issue before and it didn't work out. It's best. But if you can see that, let me know by typing in the number 2. Please. All right. So in that particular case, if we will, all right, I'm going to do what? Present. And let me go to this here. In this case. All right. I'm going to just go up. So it says your computer, upload files. In this case. If it doesn't work this time, then I really don't know what to say. Sorry about that for wasting one's time. All right. And go into this here. Thank you for such, brothers and sisters. Hopefully everybody is feeling well. All righty. For whatever reason, this is saying that there was an issue with your file. Please try again a little later. So let's use this little later right now. Present. Slides. Your computer. And if this shows up again, then I'm just going to say I apologize. Have a good night. All righty. To present tomorrow in this case and open that up. It says processing. In this case, let's continue and set vein. Add to stream. Thank you for that. So we're going to go. If you can see what we're going through, please let me know. In this particular case. All righty. So if this can be seen, let me know, brothers and sisters, in this manner. Can you see it? All righty. So let's look, brothers and sisters, in this particular case, if we will. Right? Now, let us remember that Hebrew is read from right to left. Right? So what can we say concerning this kind of matter? We're going to start from the very top, right? In this case. And it says as follows. Vaidaber Elohim et kal hadbarim ha'ele lemor. Now, what does that mean, brothers and sisters, in that particular case? The first line saying what? And God, he spoke. The word Elohim, brothers and sisters, sorry about that. The word Elohim, brothers and sisters, means God. All right? So let us look upon this. And if there's any questions or comments, please, brothers and sisters, feel free to sit there and ask. Vaidaber Elohim, et kal hadbarim ha'ele lemor. And God, he spoke all these words. Now, the word Elohim, as you see there, brothers and sisters, is of the singular context. And how we know that is because the word before it says Vaidaber. It doesn't say Vaidaber, which means that it doesn't mean powers or in God's they said, but rather God he said. It's in a singular dealing with the verb in that particular case. All right. Et kal hadbarim ha'ele lemor. Or these words lemor, saying. The next line, we're up to the second line. Anoki Yodewahe Eloheka. I am he who was, he who will be, translated generally as the Lord. Eloheka, your God. Asher Hozetika, which has brought you forth, which has brought you up out of Me'eret Mitzrayim, from the land of Egypt. Mitzrayim, generally understood as the word Egypt, but as we've gone over before, the word Mizraim also directly means double straits. Mebeit Abadim, from the house of bondage. So what are we pointing out? Just because something ends with the word im doesn't automatically make it plural, because as we see, Abadim is translated as bondage. Bondage is a broad sense. So in Hebrew, to sit there and show the immensity of a matter, sometimes the word im is used as a suffix. All right? If there's any questions, please let me know. All right? Lo yihye laka Elohim akerim al panai. You shall not have to you, there shall not be to you other gods al panai, meaning upon my presence. So what do we want to point out? There is no Hebrew word for the word have, literally. So when we read in English, you shall not have, what it means more so directly from the Hebrew is, it shall not be unto you. Lo. Yihye. Yihye means it will be, from the root word haya. Lo yihye laka. It shall not be to you. Translated English easy wise as saying you shall not have. Elohim akerim, other gods al panai, upon my face or in my presence. Any questions? Please sit there and leave it inside the comment section. We are up to the third line. All right. Goes on to say, Ta'ase lakafisel, wa kal temuna, asher bashamayim mi ma'al, wa asher ba'aretz mitakat, wa asher ba'mayim mitakat la'aretz. Now, what does that mean in that particular case, brothers and sisters? Is this Lo ta'ase lakafisel. The word, brothers and sisters, asa, is its root, meaning to do or to make. So lo means you shall not make. Laka, to for you. Pesel meaning graven image, or an image that has been chiseled into, from the root word pasal. The word pasal means to engrave. All right, so we just want to point that. What call it to likeness of Asher Bashamayim, of which is in the heavens, Mima'al, which is in the heavens, Mima'al. The word mi in the word Mima'al means of or from. Ma'al means above. Ma'ala means upstairs. Ma'al, above. Ma'ala means upstairs. All right, so we just want to point that out for reference purposes. Bashamayim Mima'al, from the heavens, which are from above. Wa asher, and that which is ba'aretz, mitakat. Ba'aretz, the word aretz means land or earth, right? Mitakat, me in this case meaning of or from. The word takat means instead. It also means the word under. So when we read here, wa asher ba'aretz mitakat, and that which is in the earth mitakat, meaning from under the heaven. Wa Asher Bamayim, and that which is in what? Bamayim. Ba means in the or with the. Mayim means what? Water. Or that is within the waters, mitakat, from under la'aret, from under that which is the earth. So in other words, from the heavens above, the earth beneath the heavens, and the waters beneath the earth. You're not supposed to be making anything that the Most High made to worship. What do we know outside of the heaven above, the earth underneath heaven, and the water underneath the earth? We don't know anything else. So when you don't disrespect and tend to find brothers and sisters making, and this is how Sheol looks, you ain't seen that. Just as much if you ain't live in a prehistoric age as it's called, you don't know how the dinosaur sound. So looking upon it in this particular case, brothers and sisters, right? If there's any questions, please feel free to put it inside of the comment section. But ares mitakat wa asher mai mitakat la aretz. So line 3, you should not make to yourself any graven image, nor any likeness thereof, which is in the heaven from above, and that which is in the earth from under, and that which is in the water from under the earth. Lo tishta, we are up to verse 5, sorry, 4, not verse 4, line 4. Lo tishtakawe lahem, you shall not bow down to them. Lo ta'abdaim, and you shall not serve them. What do we want to point out? Lo tishtakawe, we are up to again line number 4. Lo tishtakawe lahem, you shall not bow down to them. Lo ta'abdaim, serve them. Down serve them. The word ta'abdaim, brothers and sisters, comes from its root word abad. Abad means what? Also, the word ebed. The word ebed means servant. Aboda means job. So that ayin, the bet, the dalit, when you see that word right there, for those who are familiar with the Hebrew, that time in the beginning of it, brothers and sisters, as a fix. That's where you get the you part from in that particular case. So, for purpose, right? Again, I apologize for the tardiness. This was supposed to have been done earlier. Certain situations happen. We are not able to do it now. Let us continue in this case. Lo ta'abdaim, the word aim in this case, with that mem sophit at the end, it comes from being a suffix in this case, the word otam. Otam means them. Nor shall you serve them. It's when you put a verb that has now already been conjugated in the future tense, and then you put as a suffix the pronoun. Not playing salesman. Get the book, Hebrew is Easy, Volume 1 through Volume 6, for those interested. Shout out to the people in the UK who support those books hard. I don't know who you are. If you were able to sit there and hear me now, or hear me when this is posted up, or anywhere that I see the sales come through regarding the Hebrew books, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. It goes on to say, what? Ki, because Anoki, I or I am. Now, in the scriptures, Anoki, and here is what the Most High is saying, meaning I am. Jacob saying I am. All right. So we just want to point that out for edification purposes. Ki Anoki Yodewahe Eloheka, for I am the Lord thy God. El Kwana, M-A jealous. Kwana means jealous or zealous. And I want to type that in here. All right. Zealous or jealous. So it's not to say that he's jealous that there's competition. It's more so about his zealousness for the particular situation. So when he says in the book of Zechariah that he is jealous for Zion with a just understand that means zealous for Zion with being zealous. So we want to point that out for edification purposes. Any questions, comments, please feel free, brothers and sisters, to type them inside of the chat. All right. So continue those out with the Elana. Wait, I won't abode. We again are in, all right. Wait, visiting. It comes from the root word paquad. It means to visit, also means to give an account for. When you read Pekude in the book of Exodus, it means the account of. Pakwati, I visited. Nifkwati, I was invited, or I was visited. Sorry, I was. Pakwati means I visited. Nifkwati means I was visited. All right. So in the book Creator Willing to Come Out, called Hebrew is Easy, Volume 7, we're going to go over the Hefil stem, which in many cases is the causative of the qual stem. What am I saying? The qual stem, you would have a verb like pakwati from the root word pakwat. Whereas this Hefil stem, you see that a lot in the book of Genesis when the brothers and Joseph are speaking each other. You see the Hefil stem a lot. You have the word which means what? If quad means to, the qual stem, the he being hifquid or hafquade, brothers and sisters, that would mean what? To invite. So hifquati, I was invited. And hofquati, I was invited, as if it was done unto oneself. We want to point this out for edification purposes. I don't mind constructive criticism. People have watched my videos and contacted me, and then I had to make a correction and so forth, and such is part of life. Anytime you feel that you can't be corrected, man, woman, child, or anyone else, that's not a good way. Of course, some people do it because they have a hating spirit. So what you do, they don't do it correction, or all correction is done in love. So what you do is, if you find what they say to be true, you make the correction and you maintain your humility and say, thank you for that. I appreciate that. And they, I promise you, cannot say you're welcome because they knew what spirit they came in. They can't sit there and say, anytime, brother, anytime, sister, not a problem. When you come in with that kind of other matter. So let's continue now with this and close out with the time allotted. All right. Visiting our womb, our both ancestors of, fathers of, Banim, of children, upon the offspring, al shalashim, 2/30th of them, translated in many cases as the what? The third generation. But shaloshim, pardon me, doesn't mean 30th of, it means the thirds of. So again, you see an immensity with that particular case and so forth. Let's continue. Wa'ar Rebe'im, and concerning Rebe'im, from the word Arba'ah, which means four. So Rebe'im meaning the fours. So to make it make sense in English, to the third generation and to the fourth generation, Leson I. Leson I meaning what? Haters. To do hate me. Sane means to hate. Sane means I hated. Leson I, when you look at that word in the fourth line, the bottom line of that lamed in the beginning means two or four. Remember, in Hebrew goes from right to Leson I. In order to follow this, we have to understand already the alphabet. And don't be, brothers and sisters, wondering. Watch this video and ask questions concerning it. Because again, we want to point out how easy Hebrew is for edification purposes. When this didn't work out earlier to its best, my beautiful lady said to me, when I was like, forget it. Forget it. I ain't in the mood right now to redo it. Maybe that spirit will come back to you later to do it. And sure enough, it did. Sisters, what did Rachel said when Bilhah gave birth to Naphtali. She said, Naphtali Elohim, many mighty wrestlings have I had with my sister. She used the word Elohim, which means strong, mighty. Naphtali Elohim. Why do I point that out? Rachel said with mighty contentions or with mighty wrestlings, the word mighty there being the word Elohim, have I had with my sister. So women, you got power, but don't use it to be a wrestler against your flesh. If one woman's saying about another woman that this struggle is mighty, use your might, use the Elohim given gift, sisters, to strengthen your own sister. I have 3 sisters. One of them told me that sometimes, and it's not to be sexist or misogynistic, that sometimes women find a problem giving a compliment to another woman as if that's going to make her feel low. And we ain't going to go far way off the topic of the language to talk about what she says or does to the males of her life. You ain't this, you ain't that. Your father wasn't, and you ain't. And no, I didn't go through that. Thank the Most High for my mommy. What I'm saying, nonetheless, is use the power, the Elohim that you got in you, sisters, to strengthen and build up. And when your man or your significant other or your brother or your relatives or your friends, be it quote bestie or not, want to sit there and give you pop for it, don't shy from it. Solomon said, let others praise you and not you yourself. So accept it. Accept it when he says that many daughters have done well, but you excel them all. Because that's what Bathsheba told Solomon that a wise husband would say. And like my sister told me, don't you ever sit there and make any woman think she got something on yours. So when you could take what modern women say and what ancient women like Bathsheba in Proverbs 31 says and put it together, be teachable. Don't be in your emotions like that, say as a man either. This is not trying to be disrespectful. My lady stays on Facebook posting my videos and the lives and tagging people and sending messages about it. And I appreciate the support. But when a man comes on and says, get this S word off of my page, how was I tagged in this? And a woman should not be up there teaching or preaching on it, because I took a screenshot. Oh, yes, you best believe that. Not being funny or nothing. And I'm not trying to get sidetracked, but I want to point this out. On the post, my lady said, check out Maury Yeshaya, endorse your knowledge on his YouTube. So how did you think that it was a woman endorsing her own teaching and speech when the woman who posted it said his? Because you have hatred. And hatred, like the testimony of Naphtali, when you read the lost books of the Bible, forgotten books of Eden. In the testimony of Naphtali, it says that the hatred blocks wisdom, blocks foresight. So you can't read clearly because you have a preconceived thought in your head. So even though the woman said his YouTube, you still read a woman is going to be up there doing teaching, and they ain't supposed to be. No, it means that you shouldn't be talking, elder, because you don't know what you're talking about. So the beautiful lady in my life, Sarai, who sits there and is the moderator on the channel and who posts things. Not every man has that kind of gift in his life to sit there and say, brother man in my life, do it this way. Wiser would be that way. You understand? So let's get back to this and close out with the time allotted. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Right? Goes on to say, well, Oser chesed la alafim la ohabai ul shomrei mitzvotai. What does that mean in the last line there? All right. We're in the 5th line, the last line, reading from right to left. We're ose and doing. We're ose and making. Kesed, meaning grace.
Kesed meaning mercy. Kesed also meaning compassion. The Most High introduced himself as showing compassion in that.
To what? The alafim, to the thousandth generation, or to the thousands of them. La ohabai,
For my lovers. Hebrew is translated literally as for my lovers. To make it make sense in English, it says to those that love me.
ul shomrei mitzvotai, and to the keepers of, and to the observers of mitzvotai,
Meaning my commandments. So what are we pointing out in closing out this particular case with the time allotted? Not wanting to be over, say,
40 minutes.
the Most High, brothers and sisters, is speaking upon those who love him, those who do not, and what it entails in such. So we want to be a lover of the we want to be a lover of the Most High. I'm going to close out in part by showing this, if we will. Right? This is a map of the land of Israel. Okay, I want to show it this way. Right here is the Mediterranean Sea. That is the inside of the land of Israel. Why do I show that, brothers and sisters? She wrote, Torah Rabbah Ish, I'm very grateful that you found that into. Yes, you are my Rebecca. I'm saying I'm even on the level of Isaac, but I understand, like I said around Pesach at Shomrei Habrit, that I understand when it said he was comforted for his mother. Now, getting back, what we just saw was the land of Israel on a map. And on it, we saw, brothers and sisters, the Mediterranean Sea, which is the great sea that 34 talks about. If you're saying that the land of Israel is in Utah, or the land of Israel is in Peru, or the land of Israel is in, what is the great sea? We ain't even talking about South Africa. They just say Southern. What is the great sea that is being spoken of? So what I attempt to do in the future book, From Assyria to America, Part 3, we will discuss the location of the land of Israel with scriptural and other reasons on such. So, giving honor and praise unto the Most High, Creator, Maker of heaven and earth. My books are available on Amazon. 587 4841. There will be more presentations concerning the 10 Commandments in Hebrew. We don't want to sit there and go through all of them because of the length of time and the attention span of such. And I say that to no one in disrespect. All right. The sweetheart wrote, all praises to the Most High Yah for our union. May he multiply and bless our years together. Yes. May they be multiplied. Hoping and praying that before the Most High, Creator, Maker of heaven and earth. Brothers, again, don't be doting like the northern kingdom of Israel doted on the Assyrians. Because only thing they're going to do is just separate you from your family, separate you from your responsibility, and then you're going to be left there. And then you know what it is, brothers. The Assyrians was on to the next one, just like that home right. So, brothers and sisters, and praise and Creator, close that particular case. And going to say, have a good, unleavened bread remain.